welcome new players and veterans who click this video. Today we will talk about useful websites for Guild Wars 2. Over the years, I have learned to use many websites specialized in different topics. These websites I choose to mention today are websites I think most commonly used ones, and also websites that proved to be useful in my 9 years of gaming in Guild Wars 2. If you're a returning player, a new player, or a veteran who is seeking to improve themselves, I have a website to suggest for each of you. MMORPGs have lots of game modes: PvP, Guild Wars, which is also World vs World, Open World PvE, Raids, Fractals. These are all have their own meta when it comes to using the most effective build. You will need these websites not just because some builds make more damage than the other, but also because you need builds with different qualities depending on the encounter. Some of the encounters will give you a hard time when you want to use specific builds, such as some thief builds require to be invisible to do more crit damage, but some bosses won't even let you get invisible at all. Some bosses will not let you get close to it, especially on CM modes, so melee classes will have hard time to play. So it is not just a matter of what build hits more or which one is better, it is more about what you need and what you would and your squad be better off with. Metabattle, SnowCrows, and Guild Wars 2 Mist are the one I chose for today. SnowCrows is strictly PvE and in-game content builds. SnowCrows is actually an existing active guild and they clear really hard encounters with mostly DPS-oriented builds. With one of the recent updates, SnowCrows brought skill cap measurement to their builds in their website, so now you can open a specific class and see which build is easier. There's also a section for beginner and legacy builds, so if you're a returning player, you could check this legacy page to see if there's anything you can still play you're familiar with. Or you could check the beginner page to find a suitable build to start with a new class. Metabattle is all-rounder. They have all kinds of builds for all kinds of content. Metabattle has PvP and World vs World builds too, but I don't play PvP that much, so I personally wouldn't know how good Metabattle PvP builds for serious PvP players. Well, I asked around to a couple of PvP players who were in the best 100 in the past seasons, and according to them, Metabattle is good to look for PvP builds, and they said they would definitely recommend it to new players, just to let you know. So when it comes to differentiate Metabattle and SnowCrows, I wouldn't recommend one over the other. The difference between them is that you will find SnowCrows more strict with the builds. If you want this number on the arc DPS, do this rotation. 2 + 2 is 4. So sharp would be the word I might be looking for. Builds on SnowCrows are generally more DPS heavy, more aggressive rather than focusing survivability. Because as a guild, they usually have massive DPS numbers and clear encounters in half the time you would usually do. So that kind of DPS makes some mechanics not less important, but less significant to the success of that encounter. Because let's say Deimos, there's a difference between hand kiting for 7 minutes or 2.5 minutes. So if you're looking for more aggressive builds, strict rotations, SnowCrows is your go-to. Metabattle, on the other hand, has also strict builds, but it also has more experimental builds as well. More relaxed builds that gives you more space to breathe. They have builds like do this rotation, but if it's too problematic, you can do this instead of that rotation to make it easier. Or they give you more options to customize builds. That is the difference between SnowCrows and Metabattle, but in the recent years, both websites developed a lot. They have a lot of new features, so the difference between them is getting smaller and smaller, I would say. Guild Wars 2 Mist. I'm sorry, I'm really having a hard time announcing this word. This website is only for World vs World. There's also a page for active guilds server by server. From this page you can see which guild contributed most to their server. So if you're looking for a World vs World guild but don't know where to start, you can check active guilds on the server on this list. But let me remind you, some of these guilds will require proper commitment to world versus world, because this is completely my own observation and experience I got over the years, but guilds in Guild Wars 2 are usually either only PvE or only PvP focused. So if you have a guild, or you can find a guild that does both, you're lucky. But also guilds don't need to be multi-functioned, because Guild Wars 2 allows you to be a part of 5 guilds, so you can have 5 different guilds that is focused on 5 different contents. So it is mostly a matter on which contents you want to prioritize. And the last website I will suggest is Guild Wars 2 Wingman. This website is amazing if you have no one to teach you your class or a specific mechanic or a boss, or to see the limits of your class actually. Because here you can see group logs for different bosses, you can see how much damage they did both as a group or individually, which classes they used, which skills they used, where did they position themselves. Let's say a group killed a boss in 4 minutes, your group usually kills in 7 minutes. You can see what is the difference between your group and the other group. So both as an individual player or a squad commander, you can compare your and your group's performance to these groups. To see the problem why you are wiping, is it your CC lacking? Is it your positioning wrong? So let's say I'm completely making up the numbers by the way. I'm doing 20k with a Harbinger, and the damage cap on training dummy is 30k with this class. So I know I'm doing something wrong with my rotation or the way I play the class, but I can't figure out why. Or boss mechanics are leaving me no choice to interrupt the way I play the class, and I can't figure a better way to perform better or position myself better. You can come to this website, let's choose a boss, for example Largos. I suggest listing these logs according to their kill time. Let's choose this group randomly. I filtered logs only with Spectre here. You can see phases of the boss on these logs. You can see the total damage of the group, and you can filter the total damage phase by phase. If you choose the player you want to check and then come to the player summary, from here I can see which skills this player took to this encounter. For example, you can use this information to see if you're getting the correct skills. Let's say your group is wiping on a boss because CC fails. You can come here and check successful logs to see if other players who are playing with the same class as you are getting an extra CC skills you don't really know of. For that, I would prefer a kill with a short time, because faster the CC, faster the kill, which means that group knows how to CC. But I would check more than 1 or 2 logs to be sure, because that group might be handling CC in a different way. For example, a warrior in the specific group could be covering the CC that is expected from your class, so that player with your class does more DPS, so always check more than 1 logs. If you come to combat replay, you can see how players position themselves, and you can see which skills players use on the right side. So you can actually watch a good player of your class doing their rotation and positioning themselves here. I highly advise taking advantage of all the information here. Just let me tell you one more thing before I finish. Every group is different, every person is different. So when you're using this website, my only advice would be filtering the information for things that will be actually useful for your group. Not everyone has to play in a certain way to be successful. Every group has different individuals who will bring different set of skills. And there are tons of ways to kill a boss. There aren't only one true way to do things. So please remember this if you're leading groups or thinking about leading groups in the future. Thanks for watching, thank you so much for your time. Please subscribe to the channel to support your content creator so I can keep making you more awesome guides like this. If you're a new player, welcome to the Guild Wars 2 community. Have a nice day or an evening.